Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. One of my childhood wrestling superheroes, mega box office star, the Tooth Fairy. Well, we won't talk about that one. I need a haircut. When it comes to The Rock, I think he has proved time and time again that he is the hardest working person in the room. He has established a feat that many human beings on this planet will not ever do in their lifetime. If you want to rag the richest story, The Rock is your guy. When it comes to films, there is a long line of films that I love that star The Rock. But honestly, most of them's in the past. I'm not saying I don't enjoy his work now, I do. But after a while, I just want a really grounded film. I don't need this over-the-top action Michael Bay flick where it's just the next film trying to outdo the next.
Testosterone!
Where it's borderline superhero, inhuman abilities, strength. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just gotta bring it back to earth a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So I came across this movie called Snitch that I watched. This movie came out only 11 years ago, but it has a version of The Rock that I feel like is grounded towards his earlier work. My initial thoughts are it is a paint-by-numbers action thriller film, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. So if you haven't seen this movie, spoilers ahead, let's break this baby down. So The Rock stars as this character named John Matthews. If that's not a fucking cliche American name, I don't know what is. But John has this son named Jason. And the movie paints the picture here. Jason's off in college, he has his whole life ahead of him, but he makes this one big mistake that fucks his life up. So Jason's talking to his friend Craig via Skype or whatever it is, and his friend Craig convinces Jason to receive this package at his address which has drugs in it. So the package arrives, and Jason just gets fucking swarmed by the DEA. He eludes him for a little while, but he quickly gets caught. Now his father, John, goes in with the mom. John and his ex-wife Sylvie are there because the mother and father separated. John has this completely other family that he has. He has a old lady named Annalisa and a daughter named Isabel. So they're at the station, they find out what went down. So John, Sylvie, and Jason's all in there. They're talking to the detectives, talking to Jason. So they give Jason a plea deal that if he sets somebody up in the same amount of narcotics that he has, they will reduce his sentence to 1 year. Jason stands strong, saying he will not do it. He's not gonna get down like that. It's not gonna fucking happen. His dad, John's like, yes, you are gonna fucking do this. But Jason just will not back down. He's saying, no, I will not do it. So John takes it upon himself to try to do this deal himself. So John takes this chance to go visit a United States attorney played by Susan Sarandon named Joanne Keegan. Would they let this happen in real life? I don't think so. It's kind of outlandish, but it's something I can overlook in the movie. Maybe this is just one of those. So at first the attorney says no. And John has the perfect outing here. He is the owner of a construction business and he has semi-trucks. Now one of his employees there, he looks through all the employee records and he finds one employee named Daniel. Daniel has been arrested for distribution of narcotics and he offers Daniel $20,000 to try to get him an introduction into the drug ring. At first he's like, nah, fuck that. And of course he eventually changes his mind. And so does the Attorney General. There's a high-ranking drug dealer that the attorney's been after for a long time named Malik. So eventually Daniel introduces John to Malik, and Malik is not the one to fuck with. But again, John has the perfect outing. He claims that in this economy, if he don't do something, that his business is gonna go under, that he cannot afford, and he will not lose his business that he's worked so hard to build. And he throws in that he has multiple semi-trucks that he can move heavy pounds of narcotics or money if he needs to. And at first, Malik is kind of suspicious, rightfully so, because you gotta play this game carefully. So finally he agrees, under the condition that Daniel and John make the first run themselves to prove that they're all in. Now the DEA crew has wiretaps on the trucks, they got wires on John. Daniel doesn't know any of this. They drive the semi near the Mexican border where the drug deal goes wrong because a rival gang shows up, ambushes the other ones, and they just have a fucking shootout. And The Rock handles the shit like a fucking G. Him and Daniel get inside the fucking semi, whip that bitch out of there, and get the fuck out of Dodge. Now the cartel kingpin witnesses this firsthand. The kingpin's name is El Topo. El Topo? 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 El Topo. El Tompeton. The filthy fish! But they do get the drugs and deliver them back to Malik in this secluded spot. The DEA is watching, and they were supposed to raid Malik and the crew, and that was supposed to be it. Now the head guy of the DEA crew who's all over this, just fucking changes his mind, changes the deal, because he thinks that if he waits, he can get John closer to the kingpin and they can make a bigger arrest. And Cooper's just like, yeah, baby, I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. I would be livid. I would whoop his fucking ass. Now, one scene in here that I did not expect is that Malik cuts the bag open, and I'm assuming there's cocaine in there, and he makes John sniff it, and The Rock is just like, I did it for The Rock. Good times, man, good times. But John is very smart. After he is enraged by Cooper's decision, rightfully so, he demands that the attorney, after this deal is done, because now he's gonna have to cross the border and set up the kingpin, which is woo! And he knows if he does that, he's a dead man. But he makes the deal that if he does this, his son Jason gets out that day. And I mean, goddamn, if it's that fucking easy, let the fucking kid do 6 months and lock up, learn his fucking lesson, get him the fuck out of there. Why you gotta give him 10 years for this shit? I get it though, it's the war on crime, war on drugs, but if you can just snap your finger and make it happen, bitch, what are you doing? This man is doing all this shit for you, and this attorney and Cooper at this point, I just thought they was pieces of fucking shit. I was like, Rock, whoop their ass. Both of them. Daniel does eventually find out that John's working with the DEA, and he is not happy because he is on parole. Daniel was actually trying to stay on the straight path. He didn't want anything to do with this, but now he is fucking stuck. He's saying that if anybody finds out, the cartel will kill him, will kill John, and kill their families. And he actually threatens to kill John himself too. He's like, hey, if it's me or you going, boy. I don't promote violence, but I would probably have the same reaction, honestly. So John and Daniel develop a plan to free Daniel and his son from the government. During the run, he swapped semis, he goes AWOL from the DEA, Daniel sneaks into Malik's house, shoots him, shoots his guards, but before Malik died, he had given Daniel El Topo's number, the Kingpin's number. And that's when John went back online with the Kingpin's number to the DEA so they can track it down to make the arrest. And that plan is successful. Malik dies, his bodyguard dies, they're no longer a threat to him and Daniel. The Kingpin gets arrested, and everything is smooth. Now there is this big chase scene where people die, people get shot. It has a pretty good action sequence, especially toward the end where John has flipped his fucking semi and he's sitting there trapped and he's trying to load his shotgun up, but he can't. And you see this guy running and you think it's one of the fucking guards about to kill him, but it's just a DEA, which I saw that coming. And they live happily ever after. Jason gets out a free man because he's just been getting fucking fucked up in jail. He's getting his fucking ass whooped, man. You gotta fucking stand up for yourself. I don't give a fuck what's going on. You can't let them walk all over you. Man, if you gotta die, die standing up. John had also given Daniel the reward money, which he is set now. Daniel is. John and his two families go into witness protection, but Daniel just declines. They're gonna disappear by themselves. So yes, it's a pretty good movie. There are very strong emotional scenes where The Rock is talking to his son in jail multiple times. The cinematography is great. It has great music through the action sequences and the emotional talks during the jail. That's probably one of my favorite things is the music in this film. But I also think it has great pacing. The movie not only really grounds you to John's scenario, how he's just a normal guy caught up in this fucked up situation. Nowhere throughout this film is The Rock portrayed as this superhuman, you know, Fast and Furious Vin Diesel kind of thing, where he can whoop everybody's ass, take on 100 fucking guys. They did it right. They kept him grounded, and they made you feel for him. They made you feel for his family. They made you feel for his other family, how you learn about the separation, and how Jason felt that his dad left and he got this new wife, this new daughter, and how he resented him for that. The movie made you care about The Rock's new family, his new daughter, his new wife, and just the great divide of everything The Rock had to endure. He has to take care of his son, take care of his ex-wife, take care of his wife and his present daughter. The man had a lot on his plate. There are times where The Rock gets his ass whooped. This movie for me with The Rock was a really good change of pace. It gave you that early version of The Rock that's badass, but yet not superhero yet. And I will say it again, I still love The Rock films to this day. I don't have a problem with them. I just feel like the new ones are just really over the top, and all the movies just kind of follow a template. I mean, goddamn, at least change the fucking wardrobe up every now and then. Goddamn. If I had to rate this movie, I'm gonna give this a 7 out of 10. I was gonna say 6.5, but I'm gonna go 7 out of 10. Again, this is a template paint by numbers action thriller movie but it did it right. There are problems with the movie. It's not perfect by any means. There are multiple scenes that could have been stronger. The Rock does a great job. I wouldn't say a phenomenal job. The supporting cast does a good job, but nothing outlandish. Again, this movie didn't have to be outlandish. And that's what I like. You know, sometimes I just like watching a simple movie. So yeah, 7 out of 10 for Snitch 2013. If you guys disagree, please let me know why. Again, I've only seen this once. If there's something I missed, if there's something I misinterpreted, feel free to let me know. But that's gonna wrap this video up, guys. Thank you so much for taking part of your day to kick it with me, your boy. I love you all. And until next time, adios.